There's no way a group of unpaid volunteers are possibly going to help lead an organization and raise money for the organization and be spokespeople for that organization, right? Wrong! A nonprofit's board of directors members are among the organization's best assets. These amazing, dedicated volunteers are the spectacular type of people who are going to sign on to often a multi-year commitment to serve your organization and help lead it, raise money to keep it going and grow its mission, and so much more. If they sound like magical beings from another dimension, it's because they are. But a board of directors only functions this amazingly with great leadership at the helm. In this video, I'm going to talk through 9 tips to manage your board of directors effectively so you can make the biggest impact possible for your organization and your community. If you are currently a nonprofit founder or part of a group of founders or a board member serving on a nonprofit's board, this video is for you. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. My name is Amber Melanie Smith. I am a former board member of the nonprofit that I founded many years ago, and I'm the current executive director for that nonprofit. And I make these videos here on YouTube to help aspiring change makers and social impact makers, and especially those starting out on a nonprofit journey with tips and strategies. I hope you find this video helpful. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel and ring the little bell thingy so that you can get alerts next time I post another video. I hear from people all the time, how can I recruit people to serve on my board since they aren't getting paid? So just to recap, the IRS expects that nonprofit board members are unpaid volunteers who are elected to serve and represent the community. Once again, starting a nonprofit is not like starting a business. You don't own a nonprofit. Nobody owns a nonprofit, but you can own a business. So when you are a board member of a nonprofit organization, specifically I'm talking about a 501c3 public charity, then you are a representative of the community who is committed to serving the organization for the benefit of that community. But here's the thing, people will gladly volunteer their time and even make long-term commitments for the right cause that helps them fulfill their sense of connection and belonging and meaning. And nonprofit board members are a perfect example of this concept. However, remember that board members are not staff for the organization, which means that they aren't usually going to have a large number of hours every week to dedicate to the organization's operations and mission. That means you're going to need even stronger leadership and structure in order to keep board members on task, focused, and organized. So without further ado, here are those 9 tips that I mentioned earlier to help you direct and guide your board of directors to work effectively for the organization's success. Tip number 1 is to start off on the right foot by setting expectations before board members even join your organization. You want to make sure that you have a board member description in place and a list of expectations, including things like the estimated hours per month that a board member might need to spend on the organization's work, the expectation of a board member to help with fundraising or doing public speaking, basically all of the things you expect your board members to do so that those you recruit will know exactly what's expected of them before they even set foot through the door. Kind of building on that, tip number 2 is to help new board members get started smoothly. One of the ways that you can do this is by creating a board packet with all of the documents and information that a new board member would need to really get to know the policies, the mission, and the programs of the organization. In a packet like this, you want to include things like your organization's bylaws, nonprofit paperwork, description of programs, an organization chart if you've got that. Basically all the things that someone would need to know about the structure and operations of your organization as they come in. Now, of course, with a board of directors, you're going to have board meetings. So tip number 3 is to help meetings run smoothly and efficiently. You can do this by creating a board meeting agenda with timestamps for each thing that you plan to discuss, and by starting on time and ending on time and sticking to your agenda as best as you can. Meetings that run over too much are frustrating for everyone. Another thing you can do is give everyone a speaking part at the meeting. Assign different topics to different board members so that everyone stays engaged throughout the meeting. Tip number 4. Give each board member in your group their own purpose. And what I mean by this is that when you are giving so much time to a cause that you genuinely care about, you want to make sure that your time is being spent wisely and that you're not feeling underutilized. So make sure that every board member has a project or committee or special task that they can own using their own special skill sets that they bring to the table. Maybe you've got a board member who is a social media expert or a website designer or a great public speaker. There are so many options. Just make sure to give them a task where they feel like they can shine. Tip number 5 is to help them make the story of the organization personal to them. All board members should be able to recite the organization's mission and elevator pitch by heart. But if you want to create a really great experience where board members feel like they can talk about the organization authentically and organically, you want to give them the opportunity to add their personal twist to the story of the organization. Help them think through why they joined the organization in the first place. What happened in their life that led them to want to be a part of something like this? And have them incorporate that and practice incorporating that into the story that they tell others when they're sharing the mission of the organization with people that they know. Finally, on that note, give them opportunities to practice. Send them out to networking events and public speaking engagements and all sorts of things. Let them talk about the organization and practice and get comfortable doing that. The 6th tip that I have for you is to create a transparent culture on the board of directors. And really, this should be the open and transparent culture you have with the whole organization, from staff to volunteers to board members, but the board represents the leadership of the organization, so they especially should emulate this. How do you create a culture of transparency? Well, you can do that by being transparent, of course, and honest, and demonstrating that to others. But another thing you can do to sort of set the stage for that is to create what I call an honesty policy. And that is an actual policy that you explain and tell to new board members or even staff or volunteers who come into the organization. You sit them down and you say something like this. So one of the things that's really important to our organization is a culture of honesty and transparency. So I want you to feel like you can share your honest feedback with me or the rest of the group at any time. You can set the stage for creating this culture by letting them know that it's something you value and by saying it out loud. But then you've got to back it up. When someone shares their honest opinion, you have to reward that by listening respectfully, demonstrating empathy, and not punishing them with a negative reaction for their honest thoughts. In order to keep a culture of honesty and transparency going, you have to make people feel safe and comfortable continuing to be honest and transparent. One of the greatest benefits, because I know this is hard and it can be really hard to feel or to hear a truth or something difficult that you just don't want to hear. But one of the greatest benefits is that in doing this, you're going to be able to identify and shine a light on problems in the organization that you didn't even think about or realize existed. And you can't solve a problem unless you know it exists. So your board members and the rest of the people on your team are doing you a favor by participating actively in this honest culture. The 7th tip and strategy is to communicate regularly with your board members. You want to do this to make sure that everyone is feeling like they're on track with whatever project or task that they're working on, and that they're also feeling good and empowered to do the work that they need to do. You should be planning to communicate at least in small ways with your board members through email or meetings or maybe even a phone call if that's your thing, at least about weekly. The 8th tip is to train your board members well. You can start this off by identifying what your board members feel like they know and what they don't know about the organization, and identifying gaps in knowledge across your board. Once you identify your board's biggest areas of weakness or lack of knowledge, you can design trainings around that or even find other professionals or experts who might be willing to come in and give your board a special training on such a topic. An example might be fundraising, which is actually a common thing that many board members on many nonprofit boards feel uncomfortable or under-equipped to be able to do. Another great way to train your board members is to have them volunteer in a hands-on, direct way, executing some of the programming of the organization. There is no better way to get to know what the organization does and how it works by having them get on the ground and actually do it. And the 9th tip that I have for you is to create a plan to celebrate and recognize your board members throughout their entire term, but especially when their term is up. This not only makes sure that they feel like their contributions have been valued and recognized, but it also has the added effect of demonstrating to your current and active board members that you value their board service. And that will be very motivating. Also, fun fact, many past board members choose to continue donating financially to the organization, so you want to keep them happy. So are you in the process of building your board of directors, or are you already part of a board of directors? Share a little bit about that in the comments below. I'd also love to hear about any of the challenges that you are feeling, seeing, whatever in your organization, and especially any tips that you have for others in our little growing community here. Also, don't forget to check out my website. I'm going to leave the link below in the description, where I'm going to soon be offering some online courses and resources for folks in the nonprofit world, especially those just getting started with a nonprofit, perhaps of their very own. I hope that you found this helpful and useful to you. Don't forget, once again, to like the video, share with all your friends, subscribe to my channel, and all that good stuff. And one final thought before we leave, I have a Facebook group called Change the World or Bust, where me and like 1,100 other people from around the world, actually, it's pretty awesome, who are all interested in making a difference in the world through nonprofits or other means. We're all in there talking about our journey and our experiences and encouraging each other along the way. So come check that out if that fits your description, and maybe we will meet there. Once again, I'm Amber Melanie Smith, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.